That is such a wild card. I've no idea what kind of reaction that name is going to get on this channel. Almost sexy, I want to say. My mum's going to watch this and think, what the heck is she talking about? Many of my family members probably won't like, but I like it, so I put it down my name list anyway. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. And I apologise in advance for this video. I actually have a really bad sore throat, and so my voice may sound a little bit distorted and like weak as well. But I really wanted to film this video for you guys and have a bit of fun. So I'm currently 20 weeks pregnant, so halfway through my pregnancy journey, so really cool. And I thought before finding out the gender of the baby, it'd be nice to write down some ideas of names for both genders. So I have 6 boy names and 6 girl names. I'm just going to count them really quickly. Yeah, definitely 6 of each. So I just thought I'd let you guys know what we're thinking about, or names that we may never ever use for our children because of various different reasons, mainly because of our surname and stuff like that. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and let's get right into the video. For those of you who are new to my channel, I am originally from the UK. I live in France with my French husband, and I have dual nationality, French and English. And so with our bilingual family, ideally we'd like names for our children which can easily be said in both languages, and say our children move back to the UK one day or live in France, this won't actually cause any issues or anything like that. So as you'll see, a lot of these names vary between the 2 languages as well, maybe in meaning or pronunciation. Anyway, so just a bit of fun. I'm just going to go through this list boy, girl, and so the first name on my list for a little boy is Asher. Asher. I just absolutely love the sound of it, and it sounds, I don't know, it sounds quite strong. It is of Hebrew origin, and it means, before I forget, fortunate, blessed and happy one. So really lovely meaning. It is super popular in the States and also in the UK. 2019 there was a massive boom in all the Ashers, and it hasn't quite arrived in France just yet. So it's still quite a rare name in France. I think it will probably change in the next few years, so that might also end up putting us off using it. I also love the nickname Ash. Ash. I just think it's really sweet little name to have for a little boy, and I think it would work with our surname Joly, so Asher Joly. My husband wasn't a massive fan of this, and one thing also, when you sort of read it in French, Ash sounds a lot like the word for axe in English, and so I'm not quite sure if I like it sounding like axe as well. So anyway, I just like the name Asher, so I thought I'd put it on my list anyway. The first name on my list for a little girl is Rosie. Rosie. It's just so sweet and sounds so feminine. It obviously comes from rose, so the flower, the rose, and it just sounds really gorgeous to my ears. And it's obviously super popular everywhere in the world. Even in France, Rose is so popular. That's the only thing. I think if I were living in the UK, I'd be super tempted to use this name, but because we're living in France, and because the sound, the R, when you pronounce the R, is like r, so rose, I don't know, that for me sounds super harsh and not as delicate as Rosie sounds in English. I was able to get away with using it for Lucy's middle name. We called her Lucy Rose Joly, which sounds nice, but I don't know if it was a first name. I think it sounds a little bit too harsh for my liking, so sorry Rosie, not this time. The next name on my list for a little boy is something that I'm sure many of my family members probably won't like, but I like it, so I put it down my name list anyway, and it's Marlowe. Marlowe. And I really like the sound of it. Marlowe, just saying it right, I don't know, really nice sound. And it apparently comes from English, and it means from the hill by the lake or marshy meadow. So probably not as cool a meaning as Asher or anything like that, but it still is non-offensive kind of thing. I just think the sound Marlowe, when you hear a Marlowe, you imagine quite a sweet but strong and reassuring person. So if you know any Marlowes, hopefully this will match the description. And I actually swung this one by my husband as well as Arlo, but I think I prefer Marlowe, Arlo, Marlowe. And it sounds really good with our surname, Marlowe Joly. I think it's just blends really well kind of thing. My husband was not a massive fan. I think he's basically waiting to find out the gender and then be like really serious about names. I just thought I'd throw a few in there just to see what he would, you know, how he'd react. Next little girl's name that I love is Evelina. Evelina. And I just think it sounds so gorgeous and super feminine again. I like the A at the end of it, and also, excuse me, and also like a nickname could either be like Eve, Evie, or even Lena, which means beautiful as well. And that kind of works in French as well, like Eve or Lina, which is also just a name on its own. And it is of Latin origin, and it means desired or water island sort of thing. So I'll go with the desired one, it sounds good. Apparently Evelina goes back to the Middle Ages, so it's a super old name. This name works really well with our surname, so like Olivia Julie. It's got a really nice nice sway to it, nice sound to it. The next name on my list for a little boy is Oliver. Oliver. And it is super popular in the UK. I think it's been #1 for years and years. It's not yet super popular in France. I mean, it's still up there in the top 100, but it's not like an overly popular name. And it basically means elf army, which is quite a cool meaning actually, like a warrior. So Oliver. So obviously in French we have Olivier, which I kind of like a little bit less, but Oliver, I don't know, I think Oliver sounds nice. I've only ever met one Oliver in my entire lifetime. And I don't know, Olivia Julie sounds nice as well. It's got a nice flow to it. So Oliver. And also, bonus, my husband was not completely against this name. So we're actually getting somewhere. On the flip side, say for a little girl, we have Olivia. Olivia. And again, that is like super popular in the UK and the US as well. It's still not, it's still in the top 100 in France when I last checked for 2019. But it's not up there as much as in the UK or elsewhere. Excuse me. And so again, it's Latin origin and it means elf army, just like Oliver, but for girls. And I love the like nicknames you can get out of Olivia. So you can get Olive, Liv, Ollie. I don't know, I just think it sounds really nice. So, and also has a nice flow with our surname. So Olivia Julie. Olivia Julie sounds really nice. There are two reasons why we can't really use this name. So #1 is because one of my siblings has already said to me that she really likes this name, and so if they were to ever have a girl in the family, they may call her Olivia. So that's kind of like, obviously people can choose what they want for their babies, but I don't know, I kind of like respect that that's already been kind of owned. And then also the second reason is that my other siblings have actually been out with a couple of Olivias before. So I always think of the exes, like the Olivia, like Olivia the ex. I mean, obviously Olivia the ex, you don't kind of want to remember that. So anyway, that's why I'm kind of off it. However, this was like the #1 girl name that my husband really liked, and I think he probably suggested it actually to me. Quite a rare occasion that Maxime actually comes up with something okay-ish up for consideration. Now, I do like the name Olivia, but I don't think we'll be using it for our baby. For a baby boy's name, I really like the name Alex, and so the lengthy name would be Alexander or Alexandre in French, and it is of Greek origin and it means the defender of the people, which is super cool. You can imagine like a sort of like a strong Alex leading, I don't know, his friends or whatever. I've no idea what, but anyway. Alex, and also it can be like unisex as well for boy or girl. And I don't know, it's like it's one of those like timeless names which just sounds quite good at any era, I think. Sadly, we will definitely not be using this name because my husband knows too many Alexes, and it's true that in France there are just so many Alexandres. There were like 2 in my class and then 2 in my next class when I went on to high school in France, and then at university. I mean, yeah, you do meet a lot of Alexandre, and so yeah, it's kind of like overly popular in France as well now, so sadly won't be using it, but I do like the name. And also, I just remembered, we also have Alexa, and I've seen videos on YouTube of babies who think their names are like Google or Alexa, so I'm going to stay clear of Alex. Next up for a little girl, and I absolutely love this name, and I know it's super popular in English-speaking countries, but I just love it, and it had to be on my list, and it's the name Isla. Isla, and I just think it sounds so like feminine and just beautiful. Isla, I just think it just sounds lovely. It's of Gaelic origin and it means island, and I just absolutely love that. I just think it sounds so lovely. It's nowhere near as popular in France as it is in these English-speaking countries, so we can get in there now. I think it sounds really good with our surname, so Isla Julie. I don't know, I think it's got a nice flow to it. My husband needs some convincing, so not sure this will ever be used, sadly. I mean, I do love this name. I talk about it with my mum. And also there's another way you can spell it where it's actually not ranked in the US or in the UK, and it's with an A-I-L-A. Still the same pronunciation, so Isla, but just with a different spelling. So yeah, I mean, I really like it. We'll see what gives first, my determination or my husband's willpower. Next up for a little boy, and it's a name that I just love. I think it's because I've grown up in the UK, so I've heard it so many times, and it just sounds so classic and like, I don't know, just super classic and super, almost sexy, I want to say. And it's the name James, and wow, I just think it just sounds really lovely. I can just imagine like gorgeous tall man, hi, my name's James, and it's of Hebrew origin apparently, and it means supplanter. I've no idea if I'm saying that right, and that means one who follows, and so it's quite nice for like a second child because he's following the first one. Anyway, James, and I just think it sounds lovely. However, I doubt we'll ever use this name because I think with our surname, so surname Joly, so it'd be excuse me, James Joly, or James Joly, I don't know how they pronounce it. And then I'm really scared that his like nickname will be like JJ, which just takes the sexiness out of it straight away. Yeah, I don't even know if I've run this through my husband actually. James. We shall see. I really love it, but probably not with our name, sadly. Right, next on my little girl's list is the name, and it's a proper French name. So it's like, I think it's the only proper French name I have on my list. And it's the name Fleur. And obviously it means flower. And it just sounds really sweet and so feminine once more. Fleur, and I've never met a Fleur. My sister's name is Fleur, and I love that name, but obviously you can't touch it because it's just too close to family, too close to home. And so Fleur is quite a nice take on that, I find. You know, just monosyllabic, very short, straight to the point, so you can get away with a really nice middle name if you wanted to. So Fleur Joly sounds really nice, but then also, which is quite cool with our surname for once, in France when they read out your name, like the register or whatever, they call your surname and then your first name. So I'd be like Joly Victoria. And then if we had a little girl, she'd be Jolie Fleur. And so Jolie Fleur means beautiful flower or pretty flower. So that's quite sweet. I think it sounds really nice. I'm not sure if we would end up using it, but I think it's definitely like a contender. The final name I have on my list for a little boy, and this is the one and only suggestion that I was able to get out of my husband for a little boy. So it might be a bit of a joke, I'm not quite sure. I took it seriously, so we're going to go with that. And it's the name Arrow. That is such a wild card. I've no idea what kind of reaction that name is going to get on this channel. Arrow. And it is obviously not at all ranking. There's no history behind it apart from that it means arrows. I suspect my husband likes this name because there's like a TV series, Arrow, and so this cool guy who's like shooting arrows and stuff, like what's that guy called, Robin Hood, but in modern day times. So I suspect that's kind of a weird fantasy on his behalf, but anyway, we'll see. I actually quite like the name, like the sound of it, Arrow, but in French it'd be Arrow Joly, Arrow. That sounds a bit more harsh to me. But anyway, I put it down on the list, we shall see. And also, so funny trivia, I'm originally UK, but then I'm actually born in Nottingham. So obviously that's where Robin Hood comes from. My mum's gonna watch this and think, what the heck is she talking about? So yeah, that's kind of like Arrow, Robin Hood, Nottingham. Anyway, moving on. Finally, the last little girl's name I have on my list is of Hawaiian origin apparently, and it's Elena. And it's almost like Elena, but obviously with an A, so Elena. And it actually means precious or awakening in Hawaiian, which is just sounds so beautiful. It is not at all ranked in France. And I think it's gaining in popularity, and also there are multiple ways of how you can spell it. Just, I don't know, Alana sounds really feminine and very girly. I don't know if I like how many syllables. I mean, I've got, hang on, Victoria. I've got 4 syllables in my first name, so it's quite long. I don't know which sort of nickname you'd have for that, like Alana, maybe Ali. I don't know, what if there are any Alanas watching, what's your nickname? Like, what's your, like, quick short name that people call you sometimes? But no, Elena Joly. That sounds quite nice, actually. I like the A at the end of it again. It sounds super feminine, and also it's very different from Lucy and Alana. I don't know. Anyway, hopefully you liked this list. And that's the end of this video, guys. Thank you ever so much for watching. If you guys have any name suggestions that would kind of suit what we're looking for, so either for boy or girl, because obviously we don't know the gender yet, please leave them down below in the comments, or even email me. I've got my email address attached in the description down below. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. I found it really, really fun, and also just working out what names that kind of work for our surname, and also in both languages. So it's quite interesting to see how when you love a name in one language and then you say it in the other, it sounds just, I don't know, just a bit distorted sort of thing. Apologies again for my voice. I know I just sound terrible, like an old lady at the moment. Hopefully I'll be better by my next video. Anyway, take care, guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye.